and welcome to Money Matters. The scary season is upon us, and these days, if you're in certain mainland property stocks, it can be terrifying. But as we prepare to trick or treat our way through Halloween, two stock pickers join us with their goodies for our portfolios and go head to head.
The two Patricks, Poon and Yu, join us for a rematch and drive away the fear of investing during All Hallows Eve. Patrick Yu kicks things off with his first pick, insurance stalwart AIA, stock code 1299. Patrick likes the stock after interim results came out strong, especially in the new business growth column, which rose 22%, higher than market expectations. Patrick says the Fed will eventually begin tapering its bond buying program, and that will have a concrete effect on financial companies.
And that's why the 10-year U.S. Treasury bond yield is likely to going up. And I think that it should be help the interest rates spread for the financial companies, because the AIA is holding a lot amount of the bond. If the yield is increasing, it will help to increase its revenue in the future.
Hong Kong people, businesses and financial companies are anxiously waiting for the border with China to reopen. Patrick says an open border would benefit the insurer. And so, the lingering presence of COVID-19 is the main risk to the company at this time, as it will ensure the border remains shut.
And that's why it will be a fact for the mainland buyers to come to Hong Kong to buy the insurance. And this will be one of the risks for the insurance sector.
Patrick sets a target price of $96 and the stop loss is $82. Patrick chooses high-tech pharmaceutical researcher WuXi Biologics, stock code 2269 as his second choice, a company offering a full array of research and manufacturing pharmaceutical facilities, producing the latest drug treatments. The growth potential of the company stems from its genetic-based research. WuXi Bio is primarily a research company and so is not subject to the regulatory framework the mainland has built around the drugs industry to keep prices down. And so Patrick says its outlook is brighter.
The pharmaceutical project under the phase 3 growth 60%, and that means it will have a chance to commercialize the products in 2022 and onwards. If the product is commercialized, and then it will have the company can share the profit with the pharmaceutical company, and that's why it will push up its profit. And we projected that WuXi Bio will have a very fast growth, over 50% in the upcoming few years.
The company currently has 212 projects in pre-clinical development stage and nearly 200 projects in early and late clinical stages of development. The main risk to the company is the threat of over-regulation by Beijing.
If the government is control the pharmaceutical type, just say no any Me Too product, and that's why it should be have a new products, and it will have an impact on the number of the projects in the upcoming futures.
Patrick set a target price of $126 and has a stop loss of $107. Looking forward, Patrick sees the risks of a China Evergrande default as a threat to the industry's liquidity, especially among those developers with a large debt load.
Some of other property developers is very difficult to refinance the debt when the debt is mature, because some of the foreign investor is worrying about to invest into the property developers, and so that they do not willing to buy the bond in the future. And as we all know that the property market in China is a little bit slowing down, and that's why it will affect the cash inflow of the property developers.
Joining us for the rematch is Patrick Poon, who chooses China Everbright Environment, stock code 257, a leading provider of waste-to-energy technologies, waste treatment facilities, and other green tech projects. Patrick says the green wave overtaking China's business and social policies have put this company into a good position to offer solutions and make a profit.
PE is very low and attractive, and the interim profit has been up by 28%, and they are the biggest player in the waste-to-energy operations. So in the coming years, I think with the China government support, they will have a very good year for the coming business.
The country is currently on a push to reduce its carbon footprint while also producing the energy to power the economy. Beijing also wants to improve the state of the environment overall by reducing pollution, for example. Green solution providers will be much needed if the country is to meet its environmental targets, one of the stated reasons for the energy shortages experienced in the country of late. And so here lies the main risk to the company.
If the government is going to slow down the process on the reduction of the carbon emission things, or they reduce the support, financial support, as in this case, and think there will be some negative effect on the company. But I think this one will be will not easy to see this to happen.
Patrick sets a target price of $9 per share and a stop loss of $5.30. Patrick's second stock is FSE Lifestyle Services, a provider of building management, urban services, and E&M services. Stock code 331.
The full-year profit has been very attractive, and they have grown by 42%, and the dividend yield is around 6.5%. Yearly dividend yield, which is very attractive, and for the present PE is been standing at 5 times, and for next year I think the PE level will be around 4 times, so it's pretty attractive.
The company is currently topped up nicely with cash and is on an acquisition hunt to buy up rivals in the management industry. The risks to the company follows the general climate of the property industry in light of the Evergrande default saga.
If the whole Greater Bay Area situation has changed, and or the COVID-19 things won't go away, and then if we're getting worse, then it will affect the company.
Patrick sets a target price of $8.50 and a stop loss of $6.10. Looking forward, Patrick thinks the Evergrande crisis will resolve itself in due time. He also feels the bull run in the U.S. stock market could soon come to an end.
Personally, I think we won't see a market crash on the U.S. market, because the whole situation is there are still a lot of monies around, a lot of liquidities. So, and also for the debt issues, for the debt limits, I think more or less it will be solved.
We'll review the Patrick stock choices in 1 month to see who comes back to go head-to-head. Chief Executive Carrie Lam has defended her zero COVID-19 travel restrictions that have sparked frustration among the city's global businesses. Lam explained the strict rules will stay in place for the foreseeable future. She says she was duty-bound to protect the people of Hong Kong, and that even one death from the virus would cause major concern in the city. Rival Singapore has recently announced extensive measures to increase quarantine-free travel with a handful of countries, saying the nation could not stay locked down and closed indefinitely. Lam says they were working very hard to resume normal travel to China and other overseas places in a gradual, orderly manner. Opening to China was the priority, as most companies were in Hong Kong to access the mainland market. China's Hong Kong-listed internet sector bounced back as giants Tencent and Meituan added more than 2% each. The buying emerged after Beijing regulators imposed a smaller than expected fine on the food delivery provider, Meituan. China fined the company to end an antitrust probe that initially had accused the company of trying to stifle competition through its app. Investors could see the smaller fine as a sign regulators may be ready to let up the pressure on the tech sector after more than a year of severe scrutiny. The total of new home sales in China's 4 top-tier cities fell to around 185,000 square meters of floor space. Bloomberg reports Shanghai had the smallest decrease, while Beijing had the largest. There were declines in Guangzhou and Shenzhen as well. Investors have been scouring the sector for stresses after China Evergrande's default troubles began to spin out of control. Bloomberg reports Chinese developer stocks have declined after sales at the country's top 100 companies dropped 36% in September. A recent property report also said sales would need to accelerate in the fourth quarter if the sector wanted to reduce leverage.
When we return, Money Matters looks at why Hong Kong designers have launched their own businesses in China's Greater Bay Area. Stay with us. Welcome back to Money Matters. 5 years ago, Hong Kong and Shenzhen signed an agreement promoting cooperation in the creative industries. It was an effort to make the two cities Asia's twin cities of design. Currently, Shenzhen is home to over 300,000 designers, including a few from Hong Kong. With the growth of the Greater Bay Area, some Hong Kong designers are seizing the opportunity to start their own businesses there. Frank Chan won in an entrepreneurship prize 3 years ago in a contest held by the Hong Kong Federation of Design Associations. He won $150,000. With that, he ventured into Qianhai and Shenzhen. There, he produced his first animation character.
After drawing the character, we made a model, a virtual character, and then it became a physical product. After that, we registered the intellectual property and copyrights for the image. We spent some money on making different types of products with the image, then we sold the products on the market.
Last year, he created the character called Bitter Lion. The character looked sad, but it stood out among the competitors. Frank said it was the key to its success.
My goal was to create a new character, but if every product has a happy image, then it is not special at all. Then I was inspired by the spirit of Lion Rock Mountain. Then I created a character, Bitter Lion. I wasn't sure whether it would be accepted by the market. So I worked with the Guangzhou Communist Youth League and joined an event in Guangzhou. And then it became a very hot item.
Copyright infringement used to be a serious issue in China. In recent years, legislation was passed to protect intellectual property, copyright, and trademark. China also established a specialized intellectual property court to resolve disputes. Frank says these policies will raise awareness of intellectual property.
For example, I promoted my work on CCTV. They know this is my original work. I have trademarks and copyright protection. Also, the market recognized my work. So, if someone copies my products, customers will still buy mine.
Frank has partnered with this bookstore to sell his products on consignment. In recent years, some massive Book City buildings and many smaller bookstores were built in Shenzhen. These bookstores are keen to sell originally designed products. Frank says the Greater Bay Area has a complete integration of supply chains. He says design, product making, and marketing is like a through train. And he says it offers many platforms, such as the education sector, to work with designers.
Education is a large market on the mainland. I collaborated with Qianhai University's psychology departments to foster positive psychology. The collaboration is to use my animation as a tool to promote the expertise to the public.
Frank says it takes more than a year to turn a creative idea into a product. His products haven't yielded a profit yet, but he's very optimistic about the future because Shenzhen has made efforts to promote the creative industries.
I marketed my original animation to some big chain companies, but they didn't want to work with me because they thought my product had low commercial value. Then I contacted the municipal government, which lined up nationwide chain stores for me. These nationwide chain stores have 10,000 outlets. In recent years, the government offers support to Hong Kong youths to establish their enterprises here. So I took this opportunity.
In recent years, the Qianhai Dream Park, there are plenty of entrepreneurial hubs in Qianhai and Shenzhen. This kind of dream park will offer tens of thousands of dollars in subsidies for entrepreneurs to set up their companies. Also, if you have created a brand new product, or if you have created a new IP product or a new design, you will be offered some subsidies. In recent years, the mainland values intellectual property, so you're encouraged to set up your business.
Lam says the Hong Kong Federation of Design Associations has been matching Hong Kong and Shenzhen designers with manufacturers since 2014's Hong Kong Shenzhen Design Biennale. The federation has also helped designers from both cities to market their work.
Actually, these clothes I'm wearing are the work of a Shenzhen designer. This designer is an illustrator and has his own brand, but he hopes to make a series of clothing designs. The federation offered him a platform to connect with manufacturers to produce a small number of products as a trial. After a few months, he sold his products in shops and some pop-up stores on the mainland.
Lam says the federation organized exhibitions and roadshows to showcase designs before, and she says collaboration between the designers from both cities has worked well. Lam reckons Shenzhen has the advantage of abundant resources and manufacturing lines, while Hong Kong designers have a global creative view. She says they can complement each other.
Shenzhen has more factories and raw materials than Hong Kong, while Hong Kong designers are more innovative. They also have more overseas exposure than their Shenzhen counterparts. But Hong Kong designers believe the mainland offers them more room to grow their business. They told us mainlanders and the manufacturers love their designs. They love Hong Kong designs a lot and they are very keen to use Hong Kong designs. China has a huge market and much more resources, and it offers more opportunities. So their business will develop much faster in China than in Hong Kong.
Design in Hong Kong, made in China, has become the standard in the cultural and creative industries of the Greater Bay Area. Lam says the federation will not only focus on Shenzhen and Hong Kong, it will explore more opportunities for designers in other cities in the Greater Bay Area.
As a turbine sprays microscopic seawater particles across a section of Australia's Great Barrier Reef, researchers are using a technique known as cloud brightening to protect vulnerable corals from bleaching. Researchers working on the so-called cloud brightening project say they use a turbine to atomize seawater and blow it into the air to thicken existing clouds and reduce sunlight on the world's largest coral reef ecosystem. The water droplets evaporate, leaving only tiny salt crystals that float up into the atmosphere, allowing water vapor to condense around them, forming clouds. The project had its second trial in March, the end of the southern hemisphere summer, when the reef off Australia's northeast is at its hottest. The trials are gathering valuable data on the atmosphere when corals are at most risk of bleaching. But researchers warn the benefits of cloud brightening would lessen over time unless other measures slowed the rate of climate change.
The cloud brightening is one of the few things that sort of, if implemented successfully, by itself can alter the trajectory of the reef. Of course, we also need really strong action on climate change, and our modelling shows that very clearly. If we don't have strong action on climate change, then cloud brightening can only help for a little while. Eventually, the effect that you can get from the clouds, it's limited, and it just becomes overwhelmed by climate change after a couple of decades.
One of Australia's best-known natural attractions, the reef came close to being listed as an endangered World Heritage Site by the United Nations, although it avoided the designation following lobbying by Australia. Paleontologists in Brazil have discovered a new carnivorous dinosaur species that roamed the country some 70 million years ago. Dubbed Curupi itata, this bipedal predator is characterized by its strong legs and short arms. It was reportedly 5 meters long and had a strong, rigid tail. Investigators found the fossilized remains in Monte Alto in Sao Paulo state, one of the country's richest sites for dinosaur findings. The dinosaur's vertebrae and pelvis have so far been identified, but further research on other fossils is still ongoing. Excavation work discovered the first piece of the fossil in 2002. Further digging at the site allowed researchers to further piece together information on the new species.
That's the show. Thanks for watching. Next week on Money Matters, there are some definite signs of recovery in Hong Kong, but it's not reaching all sectors at once, especially those that rely on international travel. See you then. Good night.